Great. So welcome everybody to another lunch and learn session, allowing a few more minutes for people to join by Zoom. I know people are joining by Facebook Live as well. And the last in the series that we've had for this year so far in the lunch and learn process. Our ninth one, the last few we've done recruitment, we've done goal setting, and very important, which is actually our theme for next year, above the point of power, where one focuses on self-management, leadership, and then management of others. So if you've missed any one of the series, please make sure that you go back to YouTube and you can catch up. But today is probably the most important in the sense that today we focus on really making money. So it's called niche for a reason, niche as the Americans say, and you'll see why that's the critical one, why it's important to follow up on getting that right for your business. Because if you don't get it right for your business, you don't truly make money and you really compete on price, and it's very difficult to get the right kind of focus going. And you'll see as we unpack the session today, there's a lot more importance in the word niche than anything else. So lunch and learn, just as a reminder for those that might be joining the first time, is the opportunity for you to grab some lunch and learn what you need to do to take back to your business. We're all in business because we have a passion, we have a skill, we saw an opportunity, but to really allow you to take that step back, to review your business, reflect on it, and then go back this afternoon and already start implementing some of it. And therefore, we've met every second Tuesday. Yeah, every second Tuesday, just checking, of the year so far this year, as we've unpacked some of the critical elements that you need to run your business and to run your business properly. So today, we're going to focus on niche. So what is a niche? And maybe if you're thinking of your business, what I'd like you to start thinking about is what makes your business different? That's the best way to start. So think of your business and say, well, do I have a niche? Where is my niche? And what is maybe a niche, you might be asking. So I'm going to write it in here for you, our definition. And our definition of a niche is one where you can end up having no price competition. So many of you are sitting there going, well, that'd be nice. No price competition. Is that even possible? But if you engineer your business to the point that you actually have something that's truly unique, that you play in an area that other people play, then you can get to that point where you have no price competition. And even companies that we know globally as well as locally in Southern Africa have managed to do this despite being in very competitive environments. So if we think of things like, well, what's the niche for the First Rand Group, for First National Bank? Well, they're the most innovative bank, aren't they? How do we know this? Well, they told us. Why do we like to shop at Woolworths? Well, quality, no doubt, isn't it? And therefore, we're prepared to pay more. And so it is for many brands around the world. Think of most of the luxury brands in the world who don't compete on price at all. In fact, they have to set the standard that their pricing is the most. So you can think of things like Louis Vuitton, Rolex, Rolls-Royce, and there are a range of them. So the important thing for you in your business is to engineer your niche. So how do you engineer your niche? Where do you start? What do you focus on? And the first thing to understand is that there is a normal distribution curve in any business, in any life cycle, but you have to choose where you play. So let's just think of Sony, and many of you, especially younger generation listening to this game, who? So the big tech company from Japan, Sony plays here in the early adopter phase. They brought us video machines, DVD players, Blu-ray players. In fact, they even brought us MP3 players before another early adopter company, Apple, took over and made it an iPod. So they don't focus on, taking over the market, owning their own market. Their business is creating new technology. If we look at Apple play here in the early adopter phase. People who, irrespective of what Apple almost sells, will buy it, love the product, and are happy to pay a premium. The margins are generally quite small, but not the margins, the volume, sorry. The margins are big. The volume is small, but the margins are big. Then you've got here, the early majority, the late majority, people who first want to check it out, first want to see it work, first want to make sure that other people have it, that it's tried, tested. The late majority will get it once everybody's got it. Often the prices are starting to come down. And then the late majority are those that are left over that might still be buying video machines or DVD players or Blu-ray players, all of which have become obsolete if one looks at the early adoption technology. So which should you choose? Doesn't matter, but you need to choose. I'm going to give you two practical examples. The one is Apple, one of the richest companies in the world, a $1 trillion company, very few products, lots of margin. And whilst they do sell a volume of products, nowhere near some of their competitors. And that's where they choose to play. And you've heard me use the word choose a couple of times, and you'll see why. If we look on the other end of the scale, probably other side the halfway mark, you can look at a company like Samsung, probably arguably still one of the biggest competitors for Apple in the smartphone game, and volume-wise outsell Apple easily. However, Samsung also do every other product you can think of, everything from tiny little transistors through yellow earth-moving equipment and everything in between, because they focus very much more on a mass market product, volume-based system. So the margins are smaller and they move quantity. Apple, margins are bigger, but they move less volume. Neither is right or wrong. Each business will have a very different focus, a very different ethos, a very different go-to-market strategy, but it's very much engineered. They don't allow it to be by default. If we look at, again, if we bring it into the Southern African context, a company like Woolworths, still good, healthy volume numbers, but margins are high. Whereas the ShopRite Checkers, massive volumes, smaller margins. Neither's right or wrong. Equally successful companies, but you must make that transition to choose where do you play. Because if you don't choose, your customers will be confused. And if customers are confused, they definitely don't pay more. And therefore you will compete on price. So let's think, how do I create that point of differentiation? How do I create that niche? And the reality is you have to come up with a USP, a unique selling proposition. USP, unique selling proposition. So maybe take some time and think of what's different, truly different about your business. What makes it unique? What is absolutely unique about what you do, and write it down. Because it doesn't help you think it, you need to write it down. And as you write it down, you might realize, yes, that is me and my company, or no, this doesn't sound right, and you tweak it. So write it down. What is your unique selling proposition? Once you've done that, write your competitor's name at the top, your biggest competitor, and how relevant is that USP that you think you have to your competitor. And the reality is, in many respects, it'll be exactly the same. We'll say things like, it's our quality, it's our service, it's our people. Well, what will your biggest competitor say? That the quality of their people and service and product is terrible? No, they're also going to use the same things. So we have to look at it a lot more critically and look at it and say, well, what can our uniqueness be? What will people pay for? Is it something that we can package? Is it something that we can communicate? And often the best place to start when trying to figure out your USP is go to your clients. Go to the actual people that have done business with you before and say, what do you like about doing business with us? Why do you do business with us? Why do you continue to do business with us? And you will start to see a thread through the feedback that you get from your many clients in that. These are the typical answers, the on average answers that we're getting. And how do we package that? How do we really leverage that? And I use some examples up front around that. And most companies do it. Some will take it down to the point of even their tagline will sum up what their uniqueness is, or it's become a bit of their mantra. So you have to go and decide what that is. Now, once you've decided what it is, you need to try and do the next step, which many of us do already, I think, in that we like to be on the one side of it, but not on the other one. Let me just get there. There we go. So not only do you need a new unique selling proposition, you also need to back it up and ideally guarantee that. Now, this is always the fascinating one for me, because we love as consumers to buy with a guarantee. So if we go and buy a product and it's got a 6-month guarantee, a money back guarantee, a 12-month guarantee, whatever it is, we like the product. We feel more secure. We feel that they are committing to a certain level of standard, and we like it. Let's just also remember that the terms and conditions are pages and pages of tiny little words on there. Thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of words around the rules for that guarantee. But it gives us comfort. I don't know anybody that reads all those words, but we know that it says there's something in there. So if we like to buy with that guarantee, why do we not sell with the same guarantee? Because surely, if it's a point of differentiation, if it's a point of comfort, if it's a point of really enticing and making comfortable the consumer, why don't we offer the same thing? And the reality is a lot of entrepreneurs don't, because we think that it needs to be a money back guarantee. It doesn't always have to be a money back guarantee. In fact, a lot of companies with their guarantees, you won't get your money back. They'll continue to fix the problem. If they can't fix the problem, they'll replace the unit, or whatever the case may be, but they don't often give you your money back. And that's, I think, the fear of a lot of entrepreneurs. I've tried so hard just to get the money in, I definitely don't want to give it back. Well, no, you don't have to do that. So can you guarantee that you'll be on time, that there'll be a certain level of service, that the product will work in a certain way if it's product-based, that what is truly unique can be backed up? So I'll give you an example. We are the only coaching company in the world that has a guarantee. We have a 17-week guarantee that says we will find our fee in your business within 17 weeks, or we'll coach you for free until we do. Why 17 weeks? 1 month, 4 weeks to do the foundation stuff, to really get the relationship working, to get the knowledge right, to get the understanding, get the traction, and then 13 weeks thereafter, 1 quarter. So 1 month base, 1 quarter thereafter, we'll find our fee within your business, or we'll coach you for free until we do. There's 7-point guarantee, so there's terms and conditions, ensuring that I, as your coach, deliver to what's expected of me, as well as you, as the client, deliver what's expected of you. And where that meeting is in the middle, we can ensure that we deliver value. Well, that is unique about us. We do focus on ROI. We do focus on the growth and sustainability and profitability of businesses, and we can back it up. Another uniqueness of ours is we are globally relevant, a global business operating over 80 countries around the world, yet you're coached by a local coach. It's our uniqueness. And we're able to guarantee that because the person that works with you lives in the same area, breathes the same air, suffers the same load shedding, etc., etc., etc. So what is truly unique about your business, and how do you support a guarantee element with that? And if you can do the two together, you do something that truly is unique, and you can get the comfort to back it up, then you do get to the point where people will no longer question on price. Because let's think of an example. So what do we guarantee to know about plumbers? Let's just use plumbers as an example. My geyser's leaking, I wake up in the middle of the night, geyser's leaking, what do I know to happen? I'm never going to get hold of the plumber. They're either busy, out on call, don't take my calls, etc., etc. So you can never get hold of a plumber. That's almost guaranteed to happen. The other reality is they will never arrive on time. Now, no disrespect to the plumbers, that will be the difference to the rule, but the rule, I think, can be pretty average, that can't get hold of them, they will arrive late. And generally speaking, there will be quite a mess because they've done some dirty work. And in the process, have they cleaned up after themselves the same standard to what you would normally do in your home? In my experience, and a lot of other people I talk to, probably not. So what if you had a plumber that guaranteed they're always available to take your call, they will always arrive on time, and they will leave your home or your place of work cleaner and in a better state after they leave than when they arrive? There's unique. It's speaking to the very frustrations that I have in the industry with other competitors, and they're willing to guarantee that, and they can put terms and conditions in play with that. Would I pay that plumber more? Would you pay that plumber more? And the easy answer is, of course you would, because I am being served better through their uniqueness. They automatically differentiate themselves from their competitors, and they're prepared to back that up. I'm happy to pay them. And we've actually coached plumbers to do that very same thing. We had a medical profession that we coached. Their uniqueness was the doctor's never late. And if the doctor's late, you don't pay for your guarantee. Now you look at that, or you don't pay for your consultation. That was the guarantee. Now you look at that and you say, well, how's that possible? Because emergencies happen. Yes, emergencies happen, but then there's a communication that takes place. They let all the patients know in the sequence, doctor's running late, let's move your slot, or let's change it to another day if it's inconvenient. You don't get there and find out there's a problem. So by communicating with their customers, they have a uniqueness that the doctor will never be late, and if he is, you don't pay. Would you pay that doctor more? Gladly, because the frustration of sitting, wasting minutes, half hours and hours of your time waiting for a doctor when it's unnecessary, yet they could just say, come an hour later, and if I'm available, I can come an hour later, will save me time and money. So I'm happy to share a portion of that with the doctor. And that's also somewhere where you can often think around your uniqueness. Where are you saving your customer, your client, time and money? And if you can save one or the other, the sweet spot is both. You can charge and easily justify a premium, of which a portion of that saving, they will pay a premium for your service. So always be thinking, what is that uniqueness? Craft it, tweak it, and then put it into your marketing. Have all your staff aware of what it entails. Share that with the market, that is your customers, but also with your stakeholders, your suppliers, your service providers, so that everybody knows that's your uniqueness. That's what you stand for. And therefore, it does justify the margin. And going back to Woolworths and their food division is a good example. Because look at Woolworths. We pay more there for things that we could buy at other shops. Yes, maybe we prefer their apples because they're crunchier, they last longer, but the Coca-Cola and the washing powder and a range of other different things, do we pay more or less than we would at Checkers or Pick and Pay or ShopRite. They'll probably pay more for the same thing. So it's easy to engineer that if you work at it. So now let's look at how to actually make money. And I will tilt it down for you as we go through it, but we talk about Action Coach's 5 ways. There's 5 critical areas in your business that you need to focus on, leverage, work hard, test and measure, because if you do, that's where your profit's made. You cannot just make more customers. You have to first generate the lead, the interest, dare I say marketing, and then go through a process of converting that lead, which is the element of sales. First marketing, generate the lead, then selling, convert that lead, then only do we get customer. That's why there's an equal sign in front of it. We can't just get a customer. We need to do marketing and we need to do sales. Once we've got that in place, of course, now we want them to do more transactions with us, not just one, because for whatever reason, they know, like, and trust us. They become a customer. Well, let's get them to do more transactions. How do we do that? Probably 90 different ways when you work with us, but let's use some practical examples. You add more elements into the mix. You invite them back. You have incentives, you run programs, whatever the case may be, because we want them to do more transactions. Once they're doing more transactions, we also want them in the moment to spend more on average. In the moment. How do you get somebody to spend more in the moment? Think McDonald's. They went from cheeseburger to cheeseburger and fries to a cheeseburger meal to upsize or supersize. In the moment, instead of spending, I don't know, whatever it is now, 30 Rand on a cheeseburger, I've walked away with the supersized meal of 80 Rand. Whatever the equivalent is in dollars or pounds or wherever you're listening to this from. In the moment. If a man, let's pick on gentlemen, if a man comes into a shop and only buys bread, maybe the cashier should be trained to say, "Sir, did you forget the milk?" Bread and milk go hand in hand. So there's lots of ways of tweaking that so that in the moment, people are spending, on average, more money. And you see a lot of retailers doing that even online at the moment. When you're buying something, they're recommending other people bought this and this. If you buy multiple of these, the third one will be cheaper or whatever the case may be. So we market, we get the sales, we got the customer. We want that customer to come back. And when they're back, we want them to spend on average more money, because that then brings about our turnover, our revenue, the total of all of these. Then again, it's got an equal sign. So we have to pull these blue levers to get that turnover to increase. Then we want to manage our margins, really understand what our margins are, and not a blanket one size fits all, variable margins, depending on the profitability, how many of the articles we move, how long we have to keep the item manufactured. There's a whole science behind how you manage margins. For a lot of entrepreneurs, increase your prices, because you probably haven't taken a decent price increase for years. You absorb price increases all the time. The big corporates just send you a letter. That time of year, we've tried to do our best to keep it as low as possible. Here it is, just pay more. Why aren't you doing it? And I remember a client we worked with years ago that had a certain margin, and when it was interrogated, he couldn't actually say why the margin was what it was. And when we went and looked at the journey, the reality was his uncle had helped him start the business. And his uncle had said to him, "My boy, this business, this is the margin." And he'd just done that for over 20 years. Danger with that is the world had changed very much. And through a couple of tweaks, they were able to make a lot more money for the client. And that then results in your profit. So that's the sequence. The 5 ways is the 5 blue areas: number of leads, conversion rate, number of transactions, average rand, and margin. Those are the 5 that you work on. Those are the 5 that you leverage. And the more you drive those, the more you actually test and measure those, The more you look at those, the more you realize, don't like these results, don't like what I'm seeing here. Therefore, I need to do more to impact the numbers. Because what's the easiest way to impact the numbers? Measure them. It's no different to anything else. You want to lose weight, what's the best way to do? Measure and look at the scale. Do that often enough. Don't like the number, you'll do something to fix it. And then, of course, on those 5 areas alone, we've got over 400 strategies that we pick the right ones and work with entrepreneurs to leverage that. So critical to understand. Niche is ensuring that you do not compete on price. You do not sit in a basis where every single day you're losing business for cents in the rand. You want to build up loyalty. You want to build up the ability to not compete on price. And the way you do that is ensuring a truly unique, not just a truly unique selling proposition, and ideally back it up with some form of guarantee. Put that together, drive the 5 ways, and you will easily have a more profitable, more sustainable business. So it's been an absolute honor to go through this series with you, this fantastic series of Lunch and Learn, a range of good topics, all in the kind of 25 minutes, 30 minutes mark, but things that you need practically to go implement your business. And the reason the business is called Action Coach for a reason is so that it's not maybe tomorrow coach, maybe when I get the chance coach, maybe when life gets easier, better, simpler coach, because it won't. In fact, it's probably going to get more complicated. Take the information that you've gained through the series, implement it in your business. Use the resources that are available on the website and on the internet, thanks to Google and to YouTube and to all the social media platforms. Do what you need to do to run a better business. And if you need the guidance, if you need the support, you know where to come. Action Coach will help you make sure that your business serves you, that your business is a vehicle to deliver on what you want from life. And in doing so, we know that you will impact more people. Because as businesses grow, economies grow, and communities are transformed. And that's exactly our South African vision. Thriving businesses, impacting economies, transforming communities. Go back and rewatch the series if you need to, but most important, implement. Business is not always easy, but it is pretty simple. And if you do the basics and you do them well, you will excel. Thanks for watching. Great to have you all on board. Feel free to share with anybody that you think needs this and that will find value in it. And keep coming back to the website. We've got a whole new entrepreneurial series rolling out in 2022. So thanks very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.